Welcome to the Heartbeat Chronicles, the podcast that delves into the intricate dynamic of love, sex, relationships, lifestyle, journaling, counseling, and therapy, and the messy in-between. Get ready to explore the various aspects of life's heartbeat and discover insightful conversations that resonate with you. In today's episode, we welcome you to Season 2. Acknowledge the feeling of hopelessness, explore its roots, and share ways to navigate through those dark times. My goal is to create a space where we can talk openly about the messy in-between moments without judgment or filters. Hello, soulful ambassadors. Welcome to Heartbeat Chronicles, where every beat tells a story. I'm your host, Riley Mitchell. If this is your first time joining us, congratulations. You are now officially one of our lovely soulful ambassadors. For those of you who are coming back, welcome back, soulful ambassadors, to Season 2. I am so happy to be back after a 3-month break. I am back like I never left before. We were supposed to come back in May, but I had to take care of some personal stuff. But here we are now. If you missed me, drop a comment below and mention where you are listening to or watching us from. I'm so excited to reconnect with all of you. Today, we're diving headfirst into a topic we all face at some point: hopelessness. It can hit us from many angles: personal loss, failure, loneliness, societal pressures, the list goes on. It's important to remember that you're not alone in this. We all face these challenges, and together, we can find ways to overcome them. So let's get comfortable, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and dive into this heartfelt conversation. By the end of this episode, I hope you'll feel a little lighter, a bit more understood, and most importantly, filled with a renewed sense of hope. Hopelessness is a profound and often paralyzing emotion that affects people from all walks of life, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. It's a feeling of despair, a perception that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But what causes this state of mind? And how can we, as a society, recognize and support those who are struggling with it? In today's podcast, we'll delve into the various triggers of hopelessness, from personal losses to failures, loneliness, and so many others. By understanding these common triggers, we can empathize more deeply and offer effective support. Let's take a thoughtful and engaging journey into the complexities of hopelessness, exploring personal stories and expert insights along the way. To truly empathize with those who are feeling hopeless, it's crucial to understand the common triggers that often lead to this overwhelming emotion. By recognizing these triggers, we can extend more effective support and compassion to those around us. Hopelessness doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of their background, beliefs, or life circumstances. Let's explore some of the most prevalent causes of hopelessness. Personal loss is a major trigger. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a significant relationship, or even the loss of a job. Each of these experiences can drastically alter one's sense of stability and future outlook. The death of a loved one can leave an irreplaceable void, making it hard to envision a future without that person. Similarly, the end of a relationship can shatter one's sense of companionship and shared dreams, leaving a trail of emotional pain. Unemployment brings its own set of challenges. Feelings of failure, financial insecurity, and a bleak outlook on the future can all contribute to a sense of hopelessness. By delving deeper into each of these triggers, we can better appreciate the struggles others face and offer the empathy they need to navigate through these tough times. Personal loss is one of the most heart-wrenching triggers of hopelessness, and the death of a loved one can be particularly devastating. When someone close to us passes away, it creates a void that seems impossible to fill. The permanence of death leaves us grappling with a mixture of grief and helplessness, often paralyzing us in our daily lives. I remember vividly the impact of my grandfather's death. He was a pillar in our family, a source of wisdom and endless stories. He battled cancer last year, and his pain had become almost insurmountable towards the end. When he passed away, there was a sense of relief amid the sorrow. We knew he was no longer suffering, and that provided a small comfort. He had lived a full life, seeing his great-grandchildren grow, something many do not get to experience. His life and death taught me that sometimes there is peace in letting go. However, not all losses bring a sense of closure or understanding. My uncle's death was a different story. He was in the prime of his life, just beginning to savor the fruits of his hard work. Cancer took him far too early, leaving us with a profound sense of unfairness. His children were young, still needing their father's guidance and presence. His youngest was just entering those critical teenage years, a time when parental support is so crucial. Even in his absence, the way he had shaped his children's lives continued to guide them. His eldest stepped into the role of a father that no young person should have to so soon, becoming a figure they could look up to, a brother they could rely on, and a son their mother could be proud of. Grieving is a personal journey, and no two experiences are alike. If you've ever lost a loved one, you may understand this nuanced process. The immediate shock, followed by waves of intense emotion, can be overwhelming. It's okay to feel lost and to seek out ways to cope with the pain. Leaning on family, friends, or even professional support can make the journey slightly more bearable. How have you dealt with the death of a loved one? Sharing your experience might help others who are walking a similar path. We often underestimate the power of shared stories, but they can bring a sense of solidarity and understanding that we are not alone in our grief. The death of a loved one undeniably triggers a profound sense of hopelessness. But it's important to remember that while the pain may never completely go away, we can find ways to live with it, to honor the memories of those we've lost, and to continue moving forward one step at a time. The end of a relationship is another profound trigger of hopelessness that many of us have experienced or will at some point in our lives. Whether it's a breakup, a divorce, or an estrangement, the emotional toll can be immense. Relationships often form the very foundation of our support system, and when that foundation cracks or falls apart, it can leave us feeling isolated and directionless. I remember mid-year this year when I had to say goodbye to my ex. We had been together for just over a year, and breaking up 1 month after our anniversary was incredibly difficult. The hardest part for us was that we both had other significant things going on in our lives, and those external factors made us lose sight of each other. We found ourselves asking tough questions. Is it worth fighting for this love? Or should we focus on what seemed more pressing at that moment? Our commitments to our caregivers, work, or other responsibilities. The end of our relationship left a void that I initially struggled to fill. The companionship, the shared dreams, and the future we had imagined together vanished, leaving behind a sense of despair and confusion. It's not just the person you miss, but the life you had envisioned with them. Navigating through that maze of emotions can be immensely challenging. I know my experience is not unique. Many people go through similar, if not more painful, losses. A friend of mine went through a divorce after nearly a decade of marriage. The process was agonizing, not only because of the emotional pain, but also due to the practical upheavals, division of assets, child custody battles, and the sheer feeling of failure that comes with the end of such a long-term partnership. For her, the sense of hopelessness was so strong that it felt like she was living in a fog, unable to see a way forward. Estrangements, too, can wreak havoc on one's emotional well-being. Losing contact with close family members or friends can create a palpable sense of loss and isolation. One might feel that a part of their identity is missing, making it hard to move forward and build new, meaningful connections. While the emotional pain caused by these personal losses can be crippling, it's important to remember that healing is possible. Over time and with the right support, one can find a way to rebuild and grow stronger from these experiences. Reflecting on the journey, both my friend and I found that seeking understanding and making peace with the past helped us move forward. For her, it was finding forgiveness and a new sense of independence. For me, it was about rediscovering my sense of self and learning to prioritize what truly matters in life. These experiences remind us that while relationships can end, our capacity to heal, grow, and even find new, fulfilling connections remains. And just as we seek and offer empathy and support to others, we learn that we are not alone in our struggles, no matter how isolated they may make us feel. Losing a job is one of the most jarring experiences someone can go through, and it often triggers hopelessness. At its core, unemployment shakes up our sense of identity and purpose. Many people tie their self-worth to their professional life, and when that part of their life crumbles, feelings of failure and inadequacy can set in, leading to a bleak outlook on the future. Financial insecurity that comes with job loss only intensifies these emotions. Bills don't stop coming just because your paycheck does. The stress of figuring out how to pay for rent, groceries, and other essentials can be overwhelming. It's not just about the material losses. It's about the mental toll of knowing there's no safety net to catch you. The uncertainty about the future creates a heavy burden, often making it hard to see past the immediate problem. Think about the psychological impact of sending out endless job applications and receiving rejections, or worse, no responses at all. Every rejected application can feel like a personal rejection, deepening feelings of inadequacy. I remember when I lost my job early this year. During an economic downturn, I was blindsided by the company's decision to downsize. Initially, there was a sense of disbelief, like I had just stepped into someone else's life. But soon, reality set in. The routine of waking up, going to work, and feeling productive was suddenly ripped away. I felt unmoored, questioning my skills and worth in a job market that seemed to shrink by the day. There were days I couldn't get out of bed, paralyzed by the weight of uncertainty. As the savings dwindled, the fear grew. Every purchase, no matter how small, was fraught with anxiety about stretching the finances just a little bit further. The job search itself became an exhausting routine of hoping for good news and facing the demoralizing silence or rejection. For those who are sole providers, the stakes are even higher. Picture a parent whose family relies completely on their income. Job loss in this context doesn't just affect the individual. It ripples out, affecting family welfare, children's education, and overall household stability. The emotional weight of this responsibility can be crushing. But through this personal journey, I realized that it's vital to hold on to hope and seek support. Sometimes this comes from the most unexpected places. Community programs, support groups, or even open conversations with loved ones who can offer a different perspective or a shoulder to lean on. Acknowledging the loss and grieving it is important, but equally so is taking proactive steps to rebuild. Whether it's retraining, pursuing further education, or even considering a complete career shift, it's crucial to rechannel that despair into a positive force for change. Job loss, like any personal setback, is not an end but a painful turning point. It's a challenging chapter that, while it may seem insurmountable, can lead to growth, new opportunities, and a reevaluation of what truly brings fulfillment. Every setback brings with it the chance to reassess and realign life goals. If you've experienced job loss, how did you cope with the feelings of uncertainty and fear? Share your story, and let's support each other through these challenging experiences. Another common trigger of hopelessness is failure. Failure can be an emotionally charged experience that deeply affects our mental and emotional state. Whether it's a significant career setback, an academic disappointment, or a personal goal that falls short, the impact is often profound. When we invest time, energy, and emotion into something important to us, and it doesn't turn out as we hoped, it can be incredibly disheartening. The sting of failure can trigger a cascade of negative emotions, from disappointment and frustration to deep sorrow and even despair. It can make us question our abilities, our worth, and our future. This sense of doubt can erode self-confidence, making it challenging to see a way forward. Failing can also make us feel isolated or misunderstood, amplifying feelings of hopelessness. We may fear judgment or pity from others, leading to a tendency to withdraw and internalize our struggles. This withdrawal can further deepen the emotional impact, as the support and perspective from others can be crucial in these times. Understanding and acknowledging the emotional toll of failure is the first step in combating its effects. It's essential to recognize that failure is a part of the human experience, and while it can be painful, it also offers opportunities for growth, learning, and resilience. By reframing our perspective on failure, we can begin to navigate the emotional labyrinth and find our way back to hope and determination. Career setbacks can be deeply disheartening, often shaking the very core of our self-worth and future aspirations. When we encounter hurdles like failing to achieve career goals or experiencing demotions, it's not just our professional life that takes a hit. It's our mental and emotional well-being too. I know this all too well from personal experience. As I mentioned earlier this year, I lost my job, a role I had poured my heart and soul into. Losing that job felt like someone had pulled the rug out from under me. Suddenly, all the career goals I had set for myself for the year were in disarray. I was forced to go back to the drawing board, reevaluating and re-strategizing my career path. It was a time filled with uncertainty and emotional turmoil. The impact wasn't just professional. It seeped into my personal life, leading to feelings of depression and hopelessness. I found myself having to pause everything just to focus on finding my way back to a place of stability and confidence. For many of us, our careers are a significant part of our identity. When setbacks occur, they can feel like personal failures, diminishing our sense of self-worth. It can be incredibly challenging to maintain hope and motivation when we feel like we've taken several steps back. The future seems uncertain, and our aspirations appear to be drifting further and further away. I'm sure many of you listening right now have faced similar challenges. How many of you soulful ambassadors have experienced career setbacks or are experiencing them right now? Your stories and experiences could be the lifeline someone else needs. Drop us a comment down below and share your story. Let's build a community where we support each other through these tough times. Together, we can find the strength and resilience to overcome these setbacks and come out stronger on the other side. I'd love to hear from all of you, soulful ambassadors. Have you ever experienced a career setback, or perhaps you're facing one right now? Your stories matter, and sharing them can be incredibly powerful and healing, not just for you, but for our entire community. Please drop a comment below and let us know about your experiences. How did you navigate through it? What lessons did you learn? Let's support each other by engaging in this conversation. Remember, we're all in this together, and your story could inspire someone else to keep pushing forward. Academic failure can be a particularly daunting aspect of one's life. Many times, struggling in educational settings or failing to achieve desired academic outcomes can culminate in a disheartening sense of inadequacy. It often feels as if all the hard work and effort were in vain, and the weight of expectations, both from others and ourselves, can be overwhelming. This sense of inadequacy can persist and affect other areas of our lives, eroding our self-confidence and impinging on our mental and emotional state. Let me take you back to my high school days. It was the period leading up to our final exams, and the pressure was immense. Everyone had their eyes set on specific targets, grades which would determine our future path. I had set a personal goal, a grade that I believed was attainable with the amount of effort and dedication I had put in. When the results were finally out, I held my breath. To my utter dismay, I missed my desired grade by just 2 points. It felt like I was staring into an abyss of failure. Despite being close to my goal, those 2 points seemed like an insurmountable chasm. My family, especially my mom, was proud of me. They showered me with praises, but all I could see was the failure. I remember crying, consumed by a feeling of inadequacy and believing that I had let everyone, including myself, down. My mom, ever so supportive, insisted that she was immensely proud of my hard work and perseverance, reminding me that those 2 points didn't define my worth. That experience left a lasting impression on me. It made me realize how easily we can get trapped in a cycle of self-doubt just because of a fleeting setback. It's crucial to acknowledge our efforts and understand that a single result doesn't encapsulate our abilities or potential. For all the students out there facing similar struggles, know that your worth is not confined to grades or academic outcomes. There's always a path forward, and often these setbacks serve as the invaluable lessons that shape our future successes. Personal goals are incredibly important to our sense of self and fulfillment. When we set out to achieve something that truly matters to us, the stakes feel higher, leaving us vulnerable if things don't pan out as planned. Failing to meet these personal aspirations, whether it's launching a business, hitting a fitness target, or even completing a project that we are passionate about, can result in a profound sense of disappointment. Take, for instance, starting a new business. The excitement of the new venture, the plans, and the dreams you invest in it are significant. But if the business doesn't succeed, it isn't just a financial loss. It's a hit to your confidence and your sense of capability. The echoes of this failure can make future attempts seem daunting, and the hope you once had might appear more like an illusion than an achievable reality. We've delved into how failure, in various aspects like career setbacks, academic challenges, and unmet personal goals, can deeply impact our sense of hope and well-being. Remember, experiencing failure is a universal part of life, and it doesn't define your worth or potential. Each setback is an opportunity to reevaluate, learn, and grow stronger. If you're struggling with feelings of hopelessness due to failure, know that you're not alone. Take each day one step at a time, and don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or professionals. You have the power to turn your setbacks into comebacks. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found this conversation valuable and perhaps even a bit comforting. Don't forget to drop your stories or thoughts in the comments below. We're all in this together. Loneliness is a multifaceted and deeply personal experience that extends far beyond just the state of being alone. To understand what loneliness truly encompasses, we need to first distinguish it from solitude. Being alone is a physical state. It simply means that you are by yourself, without the presence of others. Solitude can even be a positive and meditative experience, granting one the space for introspection and personal growth. On the other hand, loneliness is an emotional state characterized by feelings of emptiness, disconnection, and isolation. At its core, loneliness is defined by a discrepancy between one's desired and actual social relationships. It isn't about the number of people around you, but rather the quality and depth of the connections you have. You could be surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues and still feel profoundly lonely if those relationships lack emotional intimacy and understanding. Loneliness is subjective and can be experienced in myriad forms. It touches on deep-seated human needs for companionship, validation, and mutual understanding. Whether it's the young adult who feels like an outsider in a bustling university, the busy professional who feels unseen in a crowded office, or the elderly person who lives alone, the common thread is a pervasive sense of emotional detachment. Another crucial aspect to consider is that loneliness can be episodic or chronic. While it's normal to feel lonely from time to time, persistent or chronic loneliness can be particularly damaging. It can create a negative feedback loop where feelings of isolation lead to withdrawal from potential social interactions, further reinforcing the sense of being alone. This cycle can be especially difficult to break, as the emotional toll of chronic loneliness can diminish one's confidence and willingness to engage with others. In essence, understanding loneliness means recognizing it as a complex emotional condition that affects individuals differently, regardless of their physical, social environment. It underscores the importance of meaningful emotional connections and the profound impact that the absence of such connections can have on our well-being. By acknowledging and addressing these nuanced aspects of loneliness, we can better navigate its challenges and foster healthier, more connected communities. Loneliness has the following key aspects: social and emotional isolation and chronic loneliness. Social isolation. Let's first understand what it encompasses. Social isolation refers to a complete or near complete lack of contact between an individual and society. This isn't just about being physically alone, it's about the absence of meaningful relationships and social support that are crucial for emotional and mental health. In today's hyper-connected world, the irony is that many of us feel more isolated than ever before. Despite having hundreds of friends on social media platforms, the depth and quality of these connections might be superficial at best. It's not just about having people around. It's about having people who truly understand, support, and value us. Take, for example, someone moving to a new city for a job. While they might be surrounded by colleagues and acquaintances, the absence of long-term, meaningful relationships can make them feel incredibly isolated. They might attend social events, meet new people, and even engage in conversations, but without those deep personal connections, a profound sense of loneliness can set in. Moreover, social isolation can be exacerbated by various life stages and events. The elderly, for instance, often experience loneliness due to the loss of friends and family members, or declining mobility, which limits their ability to get out and socialize. Similarly, new mothers may feel isolated while navigating the demands of a newborn, especially if they don't have a strong support system or if they're away from family. Another alarming aspect of social isolation is how it impacts mental health. Without meaningful connections, individuals can feel unsupported and misunderstood, leading to feelings of despair and hopelessness. This can create a vicious cycle where the individual withdraws even further from social interactions, deepening their isolation. The digital age, while providing numerous advantages, has also contributed to a certain level of detached interaction. Many of our social exchanges are now mediated through screens, lacking the nuance and warmth of face-to-face communication. A text message or social media like can never replace the empathy conveyed through a hug or a warm conversation over coffee. The COVID-19 pandemic also highlighted the issue of social isolation. Lockdowns and social distancing measures, while necessary for public health, had significantly limited physical interactions. For many, this had led to an increased sense of isolation and loneliness. Virtual meetings and calls, though helpful, often fall short in providing genuine connection and emotional sustenance. How do we combat social isolation? It begins with awareness and a conscious effort to build and maintain relationships. Joining community groups, volunteering, and actively working on relationships can help. Sometimes it's about being proactive and reaching out to friends and family, even when it feels easier to retreat into solitude. Providing support to those who are isolated is also crucial. Simple acts of kindness, like checking in on a neighbor, offering a listening ear, or inviting someone to share a meal, can go a long way in combating loneliness. Communities can organize activities and create spaces where people can connect meaningfully. In essence, social isolation is more than just a lack of physical presence. It's the absence of a support network and emotional connections that makes individuals feel isolated. By understanding and acknowledging the profound impact of social isolation, we can take steps to foster more meaningful, supportive relationships and build a society where no one feels truly alone. Now let's turn our attention to emotional isolation. Emotional isolation is a nuanced and often overlooked aspect of loneliness. It's entirely possible for someone to be surrounded by people, friends, family, coworkers, and still feel profoundly alone. This paradox arises when there's a lack of deep emotional bonds and understanding. Imagine a person with a bustling social calendar, always attending events and gatherings, yet feeling a void when it comes to meaningful conversations. They might share laughs and stories with many, but without someone to truly listen, support, and understand their innermost feelings and thoughts, they can still feel isolated. Emotional isolation can stem from several sources. For one, it could be past experiences where vulnerability was met with disappointment or rejection, leading someone to build walls around their heart. These walls might protect them from potential hurt, but also keep genuine connection at bay. It's a self-preservation tactic that, while understandable, can perpetuate loneliness. Another cause might be personality traits or learned behaviors. For instance, those who are naturally introverted or who have been taught to keep their emotions private might struggle to form deep connections. They might engage in small talk easily and maintain surface-level interactions, but the depth that fosters true emotional intimacy remains unexplored. Then, there's the digital age dilemma. With the rise of social media, we've never been more connected, yet these connections can sometimes feel superficial. Busy timelines filled with highlight reels don't often convey the full spectrum of human experience and emotion. The pressure to present a curated version of life can discourage genuine sharing, further isolating us emotionally. While technology has its benefits, it's vital to recognize its limitations in fostering true emotional bonds. For those experiencing emotional isolation, the feelings of misunderstanding and being unseen are particularly painful. When you open up to someone, hoping for empathy or at least validation, and you're met with disinterest or misunderstanding, it deepens a sense of isolation. This is why it's crucial to prioritize quality over quantity in relationships. Chronic loneliness is a deeply unsettling state that goes beyond the occasional experience of feeling alone. Unlike temporary loneliness, which we all encounter from time to time, chronic loneliness is a persistent and long-term condition. This type of loneliness quietly gnaws at an individual's well-being, laying the groundwork for deeper psychological issues over time. One of the most striking impacts of chronic loneliness is its effect on mental health. Persistent loneliness doesn't just hover in the background. It infiltrates every aspect of life, eroding self-esteem, fostering negative thinking, and increasing vulnerability to mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety. The feeling of disconnection grows more profound, often leading to a sense of hopelessness that can be overwhelming. What's particularly heartbreaking about chronic loneliness is its self-perpetuating nature. Feeling consistently lonely can make us hesitant to reach out to others, fearful of rejection or misunderstanding. This further isolates us, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break. The longer this cycle continues, the more ingrained the feelings of loneliness become, creating a deep-seated belief that things will never improve. Another aspect to consider is how chronic loneliness affects physical health. Studies have shown that long-term loneliness can lead to a host of health problems, including increased stress levels, weakened immune system, and even a higher risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease and diabetes. The mind-body connection is powerful, and the toll that loneliness takes on our mental health inevitably ripples out to our physical well-being as well. One contributing factor to chronic loneliness is the lack of accessibility to meaningful interactions. In a hyper-connected world, it's paradoxical that many of us feel more isolated than ever. While digital communication can bridge distances, it also can't always replace the depth and warmth of face-to-face interactions. Scrolling through social media might give us a temporary sense of connection, but it often lacks the depth that genuine human interactions provide. Moreover, societal changes contribute to this epidemic of chronic loneliness. People are more mobile now, often moving away from family and established social networks for work or education. This geographical separation can make maintaining long-term relationships challenging. The fast-paced nature of modern life, where everyone seems to be engrossed in their own world, further exacerbates the sense of isolation. Addressing chronic loneliness requires a multifaceted approach. Therapy and counseling can be essential for those who have been entrenched in loneliness for a significant time. Mental health professionals can provide the tools needed to break the cycle of negative thinking and help build strategies for fostering genuine connections. Community building activities also play a crucial role. Engaging in group activities, volunteering, and participating in local events can open doors to new relationships and a sense of belonging. Finding a hobby or interest group where one can regularly interact with others sharing similar passions can gradually alleviate feelings of isolation. Additionally, having honest conversations about loneliness can destigmatize the experience and encourage people to seek help when they need it. Creating spaces where people feel comfortable discussing their feelings can foster a more connected community, one where individuals feel seen and understood. In essence, overcoming chronic loneliness involves both personal effort and communal support. It's a gradual journey, requiring patience and persistence, but it's an essential one. When we start recognizing chronic loneliness for what it is, a serious, long-term condition that impacts both mental and physical health, we can take the necessary steps to address it, paving the way for more fulfilling and connected lives. How many of you soulful ambassadors have experienced loneliness, and how did you address it? DM us on our Instagram handle at heartbeat_chronicles or my handle at _soulful_Riley, or drop us a comment. Share with us your story. Let's talk about societal pressures. Societal pressures are pervasive forces that shape how we think, act, and feel in our daily lives. They are essentially the expectations and norms imposed by society, which can impact our mental and emotional well-being. But what exactly do we mean by societal pressures? Imagine constantly feeling the need to live up to a certain image or standard. It could be the expectation to achieve career success by a certain age, the pressure to maintain a particular body image, or the societal norms dictating how we should behave in various social settings. These pressures stem from cultural, economic, and social factors that converge to create a high-stress environment for many of us. One area where societal pressures manifest strongly is through cultural norms. Cultural expectations often dictate what is considered successful, beautiful, and appropriate behavior. These norms can place unrealistic standards on individuals, making it difficult to feel adequate or accepted. Another significant source of pressure comes from economic factors. Financial stress, the struggle to make ends meet, and the constant drive for material success can lead to feelings of being trapped. For many, it's a daily fight to balance financial obligations with personal aspirations, creating a sense of hopelessness and despair. And then there's social media, which has become an amplifier of societal pressures. On platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, we are constantly bombarded with images and stories of others' seemingly perfect lives. This relentless comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and low self-esteem. Understanding these societal pressures is crucial because they can have profound impacts on our mental health. The pressure to conform and meet societal expectations can lead to anxiety, depression, and a constant state of stress. Recognizing these pressures for what they are and discussing them openly can be the first steps towards alleviating their impact and fostering a healthier, more self-accepting mindset. One of the most pervasive sources of societal pressure comes from cultural norms. These expectations about success, beauty, and behavior often create standards that few, if any, can realistically achieve. Let's begin by unpacking what we mean by cultural norms. These are the shared expectations and rules that guide the behavior of people within social groups. They can dictate everything from career trajectories to how we should look and even act in social settings. Take, for instance, the concept of success. Many cultures equate success with high-paying jobs, academic achievements, and material wealth. However, not everyone finds fulfillment or can even attain these forms of success due to various circumstances, such as socioeconomic background or personal interests. The pressure to meet these expectations can lead to feelings of inadequacy when reality doesn't align with these lofty standards. The influence of beauty standards is another critical area where societal pressure manifests. Everywhere we turn, from magazines to television shows to social media, there are images of what is deemed ideal beauty. These often unattainable beauty standards can lead to significant issues with self-esteem and body image. Whether it's the pressure to be a particular size, have flawless skin, or maintain a certain hairstyle, the relentless pursuit of these standards can be emotionally and physically exhausting. Behavior is another dimension influenced by cultural norms that can add to our stress. Depending on the culture, there might be specific expectations about how men and women should behave, how one should act at different life stages, or how one should respond in particular situations. For instance, some cultures value stoicism and see emotional expression as a weakness, which can be particularly burdensome for those who naturally express their emotions more openly. This can lead to internal conflict and a sense of not living up to societal expectations. Economic pressures are a reality that many of us face daily. Financial stress can stem from a wide range of sources: the need to pay bills, the pressure of renting or owning a home, student loans, medical expenses, and the list goes on. The fear of not being able to meet these financial obligations can create a profound sense of being trapped, leading to overwhelming feelings of hopelessness. These economic pressures often begin early in life and can perpetuate a cycle of stress. Take, for instance, the pressure to pursue higher education. For many, student loans are a necessary step towards a better job and higher earning potential. However, the burden of repaying substantial loan amounts can hang over someone for decades, influencing every financial decision they make. It's a paradoxical situation. You invest in your future hoping to escape financial constraints, only to find yourself bound by a different set of economic chains. Moreover, living in a consumer-driven society exacerbates the feeling of financial inadequacy. Advertisements bombard us with images of the ideal lifestyle: luxury cars, designer clothes, exotic vacations, creating a relentless pressure to keep up. This can make it difficult to feel content with what we have, as there is always something newer, better, and more expensive to aspire to. The struggle to maintain financial stability can also affect relationships and mental health. Financial disagreements are a common source of tension and conflict in relationships, leading to stress and a sense of isolation. The mental toll of economic pressure can't be overstated. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues such as hypertension and gastrointestinal problems. But amid these challenges, it's vital to explore coping mechanisms that can alleviate the burden of financial stress. First, educating ourselves about personal finance can be immensely liberating. Understanding budgeting, saving, and investing can help us make informed decisions that pave the way towards financial stability. There are countless resources available: books, podcasts, online courses that can help demystify the complexities of personal finance. Let's talk about the impact of social media. It's no secret that platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok can significantly influence how we view ourselves and our lives. We often find ourselves scrolling through countless images and videos of people living what appears to be perfect lives: lavish vacations, immaculate homes, and seemingly flawless appearances. This constant exposure to curated content can create a sense of inadequacy, leaving us feeling like we don't measure up. One of the main issues is that social media rarely represents reality. People typically share their highlight reels rather than their struggles or mundane moments. When we compare our entire lives, including the less than perfect moments, to these highlight reels, it's no wonder that we feel inadequate. This constant comparison can lead to feelings of despair, as if we're always falling short of some unattainable standard. Moreover, the barrage of likes, comments, and followers can amplify these feelings. The validation, or lack thereof, through these metrics can become a measure of self-worth. When a post doesn't get enough likes or when we lose followers, it can feel like a personal failure. This can lead to a cycle of constantly seeking external validation, overshadowing our intrinsic worth and accomplishments. The effects on mental health are well documented. Studies show that excessive use of social media is linked to higher levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, exacerbates these feelings, making us believe that everyone else is enjoying life to the fullest while we're just spectators. So how do we counteract these negative impacts? Here are a few tips. Firstly, take regular breaks from social media. Detoxing from the constant stream of information can help reset your mind and reduce feelings of inadequacy. Even just a day off can make a significant difference. Secondly, curate your feed. Follow accounts that inspire and uplift you, rather than those that make you feel inadequate. Surround yourself with positivity and content that promotes self-acceptance and growth. Next, practice mindfulness. Be aware of how social media makes you feel. If you notice that scrolling through your feed brings you down, it's a signal to pull back. Acknowledge these feelings without judgment and take steps to protect your mental well-being. Limit comparison. Remind yourself that what you see on social media is not the full picture. Everyone has their own struggles and challenges that they don't necessarily share online. Your journey and experiences are unique and valuable. Another helpful approach is to engage more in real-life connections. Face-to-face interactions foster genuine relationships and provide the emotional support that social media often lacks. Schedule time with friends and loved ones to strengthen these bonds. Lastly, set boundaries. Allocate specific times for social media use rather than scrolling aimlessly throughout the day. By setting limits, you can prevent social media from taking over your life. To wrap it up, while social media can be a great tool for connection and entertainment, it's essential to be mindful of its potential impacts on our mental health. By taking proactive steps, we can mitigate these negative effects and foster a healthier relationship with our online presence. So next time you log on, remember that you are more than your likes, comments, and followers. You are enough just as you are. Now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, soulful ambassadors. Have you ever felt the weight of societal pressures? Maybe you're currently grappling with them. Whether it's the stress of meeting cultural expectations, the pressure of financial strain, or the relentless comparisons on social media, we all have stories to tell. We want to hear from you. Your experiences matter, and sharing them can be a powerful tool for connection and support. We invite you to send us a direct message on our Instagram handle or leave a comment below. Your story could resonate with someone else who is going through a similar struggle, helping them feel less alone and more understood. Think about the moments in your life where you felt the pressure to conform or the anxiety of not measuring up. How did you cope? What did you learn from those experiences? By opening up about these challenges, we not only pave the way for our own healing, but also create a community where others can find solace and encouragement. Your voice is an integral part of this conversation. It adds depth, relatability, and authenticity to our discussions. So take a moment to reflect and share your journey with us. Every story shared is a step towards breaking the cycle of silence and stigma surrounding societal pressures. Thank you for being brave enough to share. Your stories are what make this podcast a community. We look forward to hearing from you and continuing this important conversation together. Chronic illness and health issues are significant triggers for feelings of hopelessness. Whether the condition is physical or mental, the continuous battle with such ailments can severely erode one's resilience over time. Let's delve into how these chronic conditions contribute to a sense of despair, making it difficult for individuals to maintain a positive outlook. Firstly, let's consider chronic pain. The persistent presence of pain can be incredibly draining, not just physically, but emotionally. Living with constant discomfort can wear down an individual's ability to cope, leading them to feel trapped in their own bodies. Next, mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety play a huge role. These conditions can create a vicious cycle where hopelessness feeds the mental health issue, which in turn deepens the sense of hopelessness. The feeling of being stuck in such a cycle can be overwhelming and incredibly difficult to break free from. Lastly, terminal illnesses present a different kind of challenge entirely. Being faced with a terminal diagnosis often leads to profound despair. The prospect of a foreshortened future can make it incredibly hard to find any hope or joy in daily life. By understanding these various aspects of chronic illness and health issues, we can better appreciate the depth of the struggle faced by those suffering and develop more compassionate ways to offer support. Persistent pain is, without a doubt, one of the most formidable challenges one can face. Imagine waking up every day knowing that the pain will be there, unyielding and relentless. It's not just the stabbing or aching sensations, it's the cloud that follows you, affecting every aspect of your life. The simple tasks that many take for granted, like getting out of bed, preparing breakfast, or even walking to the mailbox, become monumental hurdles. But it's not solely the physical discomfort that wears you down. The emotional toll is profound. Chronic pain can erode your optimism, leaving you feeling isolated and disconnected from the world around you. Imagine the frustration of canceled plans and the guilt of feeling like a burden to loved ones. This emotional strain compounds over time, making it increasingly difficult to maintain any semblance of positivity. Depression and anxiety are heavyweights in the realm of mental health disorders, each carrying a unique yet interconnected burden on those who suffer from them. Depression can lead you into a pit of despair where it feels like hope is a fleeting dream. Anxiety makes every moment a battlefield, your mind a constant war zone of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Together, these conditions can fuel each other, creating a pernicious cycle that's hard to escape. One of the cruelest aspects of these disorders is how they perpetuate themselves. The debilitating effects of depression often make it hard to engage in activities or reach out for support, leading to increased isolation and a sense of hopelessness. Anxiety then steps in, heightening fears and making ordinary challenges feel insurmountable. It's like being on a treadmill turned up to the highest speed. You're moving but getting nowhere. Facing a terminal diagnosis is one of the most challenging experiences a person can endure. It brings with it a torrent of emotions: fear, anger, despair. The future, which once seemed open and full of possibilities, now feels foreshortened, locked behind an immovable wall. For many, the immediate reaction is one of profound hopelessness. The realization that their time could be limited can overshadow everything else. But even in these darkest of times, there's a light that can be found. Many have been where you may find yourself now, and their stories of resilience can offer a beacon of hope. Take, for instance, the story of a beloved former professor of mine, diagnosed with terminal cancer at a relatively young age. Instead of retreating inward, he decided to use his remaining time to continue teaching, connecting even more deeply with his students and working on his passion projects. He once told me that knowing his time was limited clarified what was truly important to him. Each day became an opportunity to focus on meaning and connection. Stories from others who've embraced this journey also remind us of the power of legacy. Many find solace in creating something that will outlast them, such as writing letters to loved ones, compiling photo albums, or recording their life stories. This process can be profoundly therapeutic, as it allows for reflection on a life well lived and ensures that their memory and lessons will endure. As I think about these stories and strategies, I am reminded of the words of author Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who faced his own terminal moments and stated, "In some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning." It's a poignant reminder that even in the face of terminal illness, there is a potential to discover meaning and hope. So if you or a loved one are navigating this tough path, remember, it's natural to feel despair. But also know that hope can be found in making the most of the time you have, connecting deeply with those around you, and leaving a lasting legacy. Above all, the spirit and determination of those who've walked this path prove that even in the darkest of times, there's always a reason to keep going, to keep hoping. How many of you have witnessed loved ones go through chronic illness or have battled it yourselves? I know firsthand how harrowing this experience can be. My grandfather and uncle both fought a courageous battle with cancer, and seeing them endure such pain was heart-wrenching. The toll it took on them was not just physical, but emotional, financial, and psychological as well. Watching them lose weight and struggle with a lack of appetite was painful, and you can't help but wish for their suffering to end, just for a moment of peace. It's so much more than just the pain, it's the impact on their daily lives, their capabilities, and their spirit. Cancer is a merciless disease that makes normalcy feel like a distant memory. Their strength and bravery, despite the ongoing challenges, were incredibly inspiring, but also heart-achingly difficult to witness. It's a journey that leaves a lasting impact on everyone involved, from the patients themselves to the family members who stand by their side. I've had conversations with many others who have similar stories, and each one is a testament to human resilience and the importance of support. Some people find solace in sharing their experiences, creating a network of understanding and solidarity that is crucial during such tough times. Everyone's story is different, of course, but there's a common thread of hope, perseverance, and community. Take, for example, my friend Sarah, whose mother battled multiple sclerosis for years. Sarah often talks about how their family had to adapt to new routines and find creative ways to keep her mother engaged and comfortable. It wasn't easy, and there were many dark days, but their shared determination brought them closer as a family. Sarah emphasizes the importance of mental health support, not just for the patient, but for everyone involved. She found therapy to be incredibly beneficial in coping with the stress and emotional weight of her mother's illness. Another story comes from another friend who struggled with chronic depression himself. His journey through darkness led him to discover various coping strategies, from medication to mindfulness practices. John's story is particularly inspiring because it highlights the importance of seeking help and the gradual process of reclaiming control over one's life. He turned his struggles into a mission to spread awareness about mental health and to encourage others to seek the support they need. These personal experiences remind us that while chronic illness and health issues can feel isolating, sharing our stories creates a powerful community of awareness and compassion. Each narrative contributes to a larger understanding and helps to chip away the stigma often associated with these conditions. If you have a story you'd like to share, don't hesitate. Your experience, no matter how challenging, can offer hope and insight to someone else going through a similar struggle. Let's lean on each other, share our stories, and build a supportive community where nobody has to go through these battles alone. Traumatic experiences, whether from past events or ongoing circumstances, can severely impact an individual's sense of hope. These experiences often leave deep emotional scars that can affect one's mental health and outlook on life for years to come. Trauma can take many forms, including abuse, accidents, natural disasters, and even the devastating consequences of living in conflict zones. Abuse can come in different shapes: physical, emotional, or sexual. Survivors often find it difficult to trust others and struggle with feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. Accidents and natural disasters, on the other hand, can abruptly shatter one's sense of safety and predictability in life. When everything you knew and trusted is suddenly turned upside down, it becomes challenging to feel secure and optimistic about the future. Living in conflict zones or escaping from them presents its own set of traumatic challenges. Constant exposure to violence, fear, and loss can erode one's hope for a peaceful and stable future. The anxiety of not knowing what will happen next can be mentally and emotionally draining. Survivors of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse often struggle with feelings of hopelessness. The enduring effects of such traumatic experiences can deeply impact one's mental and emotional well-being, creating a persistent sense of despair. The constant battle with intrusive memories and the invisible wounds that follow can make it incredibly challenging to see a positive future. The pain and violation they have endured often cloud their outlook on life, leaving them feeling isolated and overwhelmed. It's crucial to understand and acknowledge their suffering, as only through this empathy and support can we help rebuild a sense of hope and possibility for these individuals. Experiencing a traumatic event, such as an accident or a natural disaster, can disrupt an individual's sense of safety and future security. These events can shatter the illusion of a predictable and safe world, leaving lasting emotional scars. For example, I remember a very traumatic experience from my childhood when my school was attacked by armed robbers. The sheer terror and chaos of that event fundamentally changed how I viewed my environment. It's moments like these that remind us how fragile our sense of safety can be and how important it is to find ways to heal and regain that sense of security. I was in grade 5 when my school was attacked by armed robbers. It was an evening like any other. We had just finished our night preps and were settling in for the night. The older students were still in their prep sessions, which usually ended around 9 p.m. Little did we know that a terrifying ordeal was about to unfold. Suddenly, the peace was shattered. Those of us in the dormitories were startled awake by distant shouts and the sound of hurried footsteps. One of the seniors managed to sneak into our dorm, and informed us about what was happening. She said that armed robbers had broken into the school and attacked the assembly hall where the older students had gathered for night prayers. It felt as if they had strategically planned the attack, knowing exactly when and where to strike. Our dormitory was a 4-story building with only one exit, making escape a daunting prospect. The senior told us that the robbers had ordered everyone to lie face down on the floor and not make a sound. Some students were injured in the ensuing panic, and our principal suffered a horrific injury, a cut on his head from an axe. The terror in her voice was palpable, and it sent chills down our spines. We huddled together in a corner of the dormitory, our hearts pounding in fear. Silence hung heavy in the air as we prayed fervently, hoping that the robbers wouldn't think to search the dorms. Every creak, every whisper seemed amplified in the oppressive silence. I remember clutching the hands of my friends, our small circle united in a desperate plea for safety. In the midst of this chaos, time seemed to stretch endlessly. Each second felt like an hour, and every minute left us more exhausted and anxious. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we heard the welcome sound of police sirens. Relief washed over us, but the scars of that night lingered on. The police arrived just in time to prevent further harm to the students and teachers. The whole experience was deeply scarring and left an indelible mark on my childhood. This traumatic event was one of those moments that made me and my peers appreciate the fragility of life. It's hard to forget the feelings of vulnerability and fear that gripped us that night, and it's a harsh reminder of how deeply such experiences can impact one's sense of safety and stability. Living in or escaping from conflict zones can leave individuals with lasting trauma and a sense of hopelessness about their future. I can personally relate to this, having experienced the post-election violence in Kenya in 2007. The chaos and brutality of that period were overwhelming, leaving an indelible mark on my sense of safety and well-being. When everyday life is disrupted by violence, it's hard to hold on to hope. The fear of losing loved ones and the uncertainty about what tomorrow might bring can be incredibly destabilizing. Such experiences shape not only our present, but also color our outlook on the future, often making it challenging to envision a life free from fear and instability. In 2007, Kenya faced a turbulent post-election period filled with violence and chaos that shook the entire nation. My family and I were not spared from this turmoil. We were at our rural home, enjoying the Christmas holidays, blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to hit us. But soon, the peaceful days turned into a nightmare. I remember it was just after Christmas, and suddenly the air was filled with unease. We could hear the distant sound of war horns and gunshots from town, each sound sending ripples of fear through our hearts. The violence was not just random, it was tribal, turning neighbor against neighbor. This wasn't merely a fear of the unknown, but a real pressing fear of being caught in the crossfire or losing loved ones. One morning, panic struck our home like a lightning bolt. We got word that the opposing tribe was approaching. The urgency in my family's voices as they woke everyone up is something I can never forget. We had to move, and we had to do it fast. Within minutes, 12 people had crammed into a small salon car. The car ride was packed with tension. Every jolt and bump on the road felt like it could be our last. I looked out the window and saw young men with spears and arrows, smoke billowing in the distance, and the sounds of wailing and screaming filled the air. It was sheer chaos. These are sights and sounds no 10-year-old should ever have to experience. Yet there we were, fleeing from an upheaval that had shattered our world. For days, my heart was a constant drumbeat of fear and anxiety. The uncertainty was paralyzing. Were my friends safe? Was our home still standing? Would we ever be able to return? This harrowing period left an indelible mark on me. The trauma from those days crept into my dreams and lingered in my waking moments. The fear and uncertainty of that time, the possibility of losing everything and everyone I loved, was overwhelming. Even now, memories of those dark days are vivid, a sharp contrast to the normalcy and safety that many take for granted. Experiencing such brutal and senseless violence changed me forever. It deepened my understanding of human nature, the fragility of peace, and the importance of security. It also left me with a profound sense of hopelessness that took years to overcome. But in sharing these stories, I hope to underscore the resilience of the human spirit and the critical importance of support systems in the aftermath of trauma. Traumatic experiences from abuse, accidents, disasters, and conflict can profoundly affect one's sense of hope and security. It's crucial to acknowledge these experiences and seek support when needed. Trauma can leave deep scars, but it doesn't have to define our future. By addressing these difficult memories and sharing our stories, we can begin to heal and find a renewed sense of hope and possibility. How many of you listening have had similar experiences? Have you gone through trauma that left you feeling hopeless or uncertain about the future? I encourage you to share your stories and connect with others who may be going through the same thing. Let's create a supportive community where we can all work towards healing and reclaiming our sense of security and hope. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, you are not alone. Lastly, we have existential crises as one of the common triggers of hopelessness. Existential crises can make individuals question the very core of their existence, the meaning and purpose of life. When entrenched in such deep contemplation, it can often lead to profound feelings of hopelessness. Imagine staring into the void and feeling that nothing you do has any real significance. It's a heavy and disorienting state to be in. These crises aren't uniform. They manifest in various forms. One common trigger is the loss of faith. For many, religious or spiritual beliefs offer a framework of meaning and purpose. When these beliefs are shaken or lost, the sense of direction can disappear along with them, leaving a void that's hard to fill. Another type of existential crisis is the midlife crisis. This typically occurs when individuals reach a certain age and begin to feel unfulfilled by their life's accomplishments. They may question the choices they've made and the paths they've taken, leading to a deep sense of disillusionment and uncertainty about the future. Identity crises also play a pivotal role. These occur when individuals grapple with aspects of their personal identity, such as gender, sexuality, or cultural background. When one feels misunderstood or unsupported in these fundamental facets of who they are, it can lead to significant emotional distress and a sense of hopelessness. Understanding these varied forms of existential crises is crucial. Each one has its own intricacies and challenges, and recognizing them is the first step in offering meaningful support. By becoming aware of these triggers, we position ourselves better to empathize and assist those who find themselves adrift in the stormy seas of an existential crisis. Losing religious or spiritual faith can profoundly affect one's sense of meaning and direction in life. It's a deeply personal and often painful experience that can leave you feeling adrift and uncertain about the future. When faith is lost, the foundation upon which many beliefs, values, and life choices are built can feel like it's crumbling beneath your feet. As someone who has navigated this turbulent journey, I can tell you that it isn't easy. As I mentioned early this year, I found myself grappling with the loss of my job and dealing with a broken heart all at once. The sheer weight of these setbacks felt insurmountable, and I began to question everything. Why was this happening to me? What had I done to deserve such hardships? In moments like these, even the most steadfast faith can waver, and mine did. I remember lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling an overwhelming sense of hopelessness wash over me. It was as though the rug had been pulled out from under my feet and I was free-falling into a void of doubt and despair. The questions kept coming, unbidden and relentless. I pondered the existence of a higher power, struggled to find meaning in the chaos, and questioned whether anyone was truly listening to my silent pleas for help. In the midst of this existential turmoil, I decided to confront my doubts head-on. Instead of shying away from these difficult questions, I chose to seek answers. For me, that meant turning to my faith, not as a crutch, but as a lens through which I could attempt to make sense of my suffering. I took to reading scriptures, reaching out to spiritual mentors, and even finding solace in books and stories of others who had traversed similar paths. Interestingly, it was through these efforts that I began to regain a sense of grounding. I discovered that faith doesn't necessarily provide all the answers, but it can offer a framework within which to wrestle with the big questions. I found that my faith gave me the strength to persevere, even when everything seemed bleak. It wasn't about finding a solution right away, but about having a constant source of support to lean on. One particularly poignant moment during this time was when I came across a passage that spoke about tests and trials as opportunities for growth. It resonated deeply with me, not because it provided a quick fix, but because it illuminated a new perspective. I began to see my challenges not as punishments, but as experiences that could shape me into a stronger, more resilient person. Gradually, as I continued to wrestle with my doubts and confront my fears, a sense of hope began to return. My job situation eventually improved, and while my heart took time to heal, I found that I had grown from the experience. I emerged with a more nuanced understanding of my faith, one that could accommodate questions and doubts without collapsing under their weight. This personal journey through loss, doubt, and eventual rekindling of faith has taught me that losing faith doesn't have to be the end of the road. It can be an opportunity for a deeper, more profound connection with one's beliefs. For those experiencing a similar crisis, I encourage you to hold on to whatever flicker of hope you can find. Seek out support, engage with your doubts, and know that it's okay to question. Through this process, you might just find a renewed sense of meaning and direction. Let's dive into the phenomenon of the midlife crisis. Reaching middle age often brings with it a moment of reflection, sometimes a harsh reevaluation of the dreams we once had and the reality we face today. For many, it's a time filled with questions. Have I accomplished everything I set out to do? Is this the life I envisioned for myself? A midlife crisis typically manifests as a combination of emotional turmoil and a desire for significant life changes. Some might feel trapped in a career that no longer satisfies them, while others may feel a void in their personal relationships. It's a time when the weight of unfulfilled aspirations can become almost unbearable, leading to feelings of hopelessness and confusion. But it's essential to understand that these feelings, while challenging, can also serve as a catalyst for positive change. A midlife crisis isn't just about despair. It's an opportunity to recalibrate. To navigate through this phase, it's crucial to focus on self-reflection and reassessment. Ask yourself what truly matters. What brings you joy? What are your passions and values? Seeking support can be incredibly beneficial during this time. Whether it's talking to a trusted friend, joining a support group, or seeking professional counseling, discussing your feelings openly can alleviate the burden and give you new perspectives. Establishing new goals and embracing new activities can also inject meaning and excitement back into your life. Sometimes pursuing a hobby, traveling to a place you've always wanted to visit, or even embarking on a new career path can bring a sense of renewal. Remember, it's never too late to make changes that align with your authentic self. Understanding that a midlife crisis is a natural and widespread phenomenon can be comforting. Recognizing it as a transitional phase rather than an endpoint can empower you to make constructive decisions. With empathy, self-awareness, and the willingness to adapt, you can transform this period of crisis into a journey of personal growth and fulfillment. Identity crises are a unique kind of existential crisis, often rooted deeply in the very fiber of who we are or who we perceive ourselves to be. When someone struggles with personal aspects such as gender, sexuality, or cultural identity, it can lead to profound feelings of hopelessness and disconnection. Imagine someone grappling with their gender identity in a society that may not fully accept or understand non-binary or transgender experiences. The struggle to be seen and validated for who they truly are can create immense internal conflict. For instance, misalignment between one's internal sense of gender and the external societal norms can lead to isolation and despair. Sexuality is another intense realm where identity crises can occur. Whether it's coming to terms with being gay, bisexual, or questioning one's sexual orientation, the journey often involves overcoming societal prejudices and internalized doubts. Feeling alone or unsupported in this journey can quickly spiral into a sense of hopelessness. Cultural identity, too, plays a massive role in how we see ourselves and our place in the world. Moving to a new country, for example, can lead to culture shock and a sense of losing one's roots. This can be exacerbated if individuals feel disconnected from their heritage or if they face discrimination because of their cultural background. Being misunderstood or feeling that you don't belong can make one question their worth and place in the world. Support and understanding are absolutely critical for anyone going through an identity crisis. Empathy from family, friends, and even workplaces can significantly alleviate the burden. Encouraging open dialogues and providing inclusive spaces can make a huge difference. Additionally, professional help, such as counseling or support groups, can provide a safe space for individuals to explore and affirm their identities. In our rapidly changing world, it's more important than ever to foster acceptance and understanding. Each person's journey is unique, and offering a compassionate ear or a supportive hand can make all the difference in helping someone navigate through their identity crisis. As we reach the end of today's episode, it's crucial to remember that recognizing the various triggers of existential crises is only the beginning. Each person's struggle is unique, and our ability to offer meaningful support starts with empathy. By truly understanding the roots of their hopelessness, whether it be failure, loneliness, personal loss, or societal pressure, we can begin to help them navigate these difficult times. Imagine the profound impact we can have by simply being present, listening without judgment, and offering a safe space for healing and reflection. It's about more than just saying the right words. It's about showing genuine compassion and understanding. Everyone's journey is different, and what might be a solution for one person may not work for another. Ultimately, our goal should be to build bridges of connection, providing the support needed for those enduring an existential crisis to find new meaning and direction in their lives. Whether you're offering support to someone else or seeking help yourself, remember that it's okay to reach out and that together we can find paths forward through even the most challenging times. Remember, your struggles don't define you. Your resilience does. Hopelessness can often feel like an insurmountable barrier, casting a shadow over our lives and clouding our judgment. However, by understanding the common triggers that contribute to these feelings, we can begin to take practical steps to cope with and address them. Whether we are dealing with personal loss, failure, loneliness, societal pressures, chronic illness, trauma, or existential crises, recognizing the root causes of our despair is the first step toward overcoming it. We will explore various strategies and approaches to mitigate the impact of these triggers, providing you with tools to navigate through tough times and regain a sense of hope and purpose. Dealing with personal loss requires a combination of emotional support and practical steps to navigate the challenging path ahead. One of the first and most important steps is to allow yourself to grieve. Grieving is a natural response to loss, and it's crucial to recognize that it's okay to feel a wide range of emotions, from sadness and anger to confusion and even moments of relief. Give yourself the permission and time you need to process these emotions without imposing a timeline for feeling better. Leaning on your support network can provide immense comfort during these times. Friends, family members, or support groups can offer a listening ear and validate your feelings. Sharing your thoughts and feelings with people who understand your situation can not only provide relief, but also offer different perspectives that might help you process your grief more thoroughly. In addition to emotional support from loved ones, seeking professional help can be extremely beneficial. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate the complexities of grief. They can offer coping strategies tailored to your specific needs, helping you understand and manage your emotions more effectively. Professional support can also provide a safe space to express your feelings without judgment. Navigating personal loss is never easy, but taking these steps can make the journey more manageable. Allow yourself to grieve, seek out your support network, and don't hesitate to reach out for professional help. Understanding that it's a process and granting yourself patience and compassion can pave the way towards eventual healing. Failure can feel devastating, but it doesn't have to define you. Embracing failure as a vital part of growth is key to overcoming it. Let's explore some strategies to reframe failure, set realistic goals, and remain persistent. Firstly, reframe failure by viewing it as an invaluable learning opportunity. Every setback provides crucial insights into what went wrong and areas that need improvement. Instead of dwelling on the negative, focus on extracting lessons from the experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I apply these lessons moving forward? By doing so, you turn each failure into a stepping stone for future success. Second, set realistic goals to keep you on track. It's essential to break down larger ambitions into smaller, manageable steps. This approach not only makes your goals feel more achievable, but also allows you to celebrate small victories along the way. For example, if you're aiming to run a marathon, start with shorter runs and gradually increase your distance. Each completed milestone boosts your confidence and keeps you motivated. Remember, the journey to success is seldom linear. Persistence is crucial. Understand that setbacks are a natural part of any endeavor. When faced with obstacles, remind yourself why you started and refocus on your end goal. Keep pushing forward, even when progress seems slow. Persistence fuels resilience, helping you bounce back stronger after each failure. In summary, overcoming failure involves reframing it as a learning opportunity, setting realistic goals, and remaining persistent. By adopting this mindset, you can navigate through setbacks and use them to propel yourself toward greater achievements. Loneliness is a feeling that many of us experience at some point in our lives, but it's possible to combat it through intentional actions. Building connections and a sense of community can make a significant difference in how we feel. Firstly, consider joining groups or clubs that match your interests. Whether it's a book club, a sports team, or a hobby group, participating in these activities can help you meet like-minded individuals. Shared interests often form the foundation of strong relationships, making it easier to connect and bond with others. Volunteering is another powerful way to alleviate loneliness. When you volunteer, you're not only contributing to a cause you care about, but you're also meeting people who share your values and passions. The sense of purpose and community that comes from volunteering can be incredibly fulfilling and help reduce feelings of isolation. Nurturing existing relationships is also crucial. Sometimes life gets busy, and we unintentionally drift apart from friends and family. Make an effort to reach out and reconnect. Regular communication, whether it's a quick text, a call, or a coffee date, can strengthen these bonds. Don't wait for others to make the first move. Be proactive in reaching out and maintaining your relationships. Additionally, consider reaching out to new acquaintances and turning them into friends. Simple acts like starting a conversation with a neighbor or a colleague can lead to deeper connections over time. Sometimes those around us who seem like casual acquaintances could become close friends if given the chance. Building connections takes effort and vulnerability, but the rewards are immense. A strong support network not only provides companionship, but also a sense of belonging and security. Remember, you are not alone, and there are many avenues available to foster meaningful relationships that can enrich your life. By taking these steps, joining groups, volunteering, and nurturing relationships, you can create a supportive community around you, effectively combating loneliness and enhancing your overall well-being. Societal pressures can often feel overwhelming, but there are effective strategies to manage them while maintaining a strong sense of self. One such strategy is to limit your social media use. Social media often showcases only the highlights of people's lives, leading to constant comparisons and feelings of inadequacy. By reducing the time you spend on these platforms, you can focus more on your own journey rather than others' curated moments. Setting boundaries is another crucial approach. Learn to say no to societal expectations that don't align with your values and priorities. It's okay to prioritize your own well-being over external demands. Whether it's declining additional responsibilities at work or opting out of social events that drain you, setting these boundaries helps maintain your mental health and personal integrity. Practicing self-compassion is equally important. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. Acknowledge your worth and recognize that you are more than your achievements or how you compare to others. By celebrating your unique qualities and accomplishments, you can reinforce a positive self-image that's resilient to societal pressures. Together, these strategies help create a balanced and authentic life. Limiting social media helps reduce unnecessary stress and comparisons. Setting boundaries ensures that your time and energy are spent on what truly matters to you. Practicing self-compassion fosters a healthy and supportive inner dialogue. Through these practices, you can manage societal pressures more effectively and maintain a strong, grounded sense of self. Living with a chronic illness can be challenging, but there are strategies that can help you manage your condition and maintain a positive outlook on life. First and foremost, it's essential to follow medical advice and treatments prescribed by healthcare professionals. Regular checkups, adhering to medication schedules, and staying informed about the latest in health advancements can play a significant role in managing your illness effectively. Mental health care is just as important as physical health. Feeling overwhelmed is natural, and seeking therapy or counseling can offer a safe space to express your feelings and gain coping strategies. Support groups, either in person or online, can be invaluable, offering a sense of community and understanding from others who are facing similar challenges. Focusing on positivity, despite health struggles, is crucial. Identify activities that bring you joy and satisfaction, whether it's a hobby, a creative outlet, or spending time with loved ones. Engaging in these activities can provide a much-needed distraction and foster a sense of normalcy and well-being. Additionally, consider adopting mindfulness practices such as meditation or yoga, which can help reduce stress and improve your overall mental state. Physical activity, as your condition permits, can also contribute to a healthier mindset. Finally, educate yourself about your illness. Knowledge empowers you to make informed decisions about your health and treatments. By combining medical support, mental health care, and a focus on positive, fulfilling activities, it is possible to navigate life with a chronic illness and maintain a hopeful and proactive attitude. Healing from traumatic experiences involves a blend of emotional and practical strategies. One crucial step is engaging in therapy specifically designed for trauma, such as EMDR or cognitive behavioral therapy. These therapeutic techniques can help you process and make sense of painful memories, gradually reducing their hold on you. Building a strong support network is equally important. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or support groups where you feel understood and safe. Sharing your experiences with those who can empathize provides not only comfort, but also perspective. Self-care is another cornerstone of recovery. Prioritize activities that promote relaxation and well-being, such as mindfulness exercises, regular physical activity, and creative pursuits. These practices can help you reconnect with yourself and regain a sense of control. It's vital to create a balanced routine that includes time for rest and activities that bring joy. Distracting yourself with hobbies, whether it's painting, reading, or gardening, can offer a much-needed break from the emotional intensity. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Healing from trauma is not a linear process, and it's okay to have setbacks. Celebrate small victories and acknowledge your progress, no matter how minor it might seem. Over time, these steps can lead to significant improvement in your overall emotional health and resilience. Navigating existential crises can feel overwhelming, but there are several strategies that can help you find meaning and purpose during these challenging times. First, take some time for deep self-reflection. Explore your core values, beliefs, and life goals. Journaling can be an effective tool to organize your thoughts and gain clarity. Write down your experiences, the questions you're grappling with, and any insights that come to you. This process can help you better understand what truly matters to you and reveal patterns or themes that resonate with your sense of purpose. Spiritual exploration might also provide solace and direction. Whether you follow a specific faith or are simply exploring spiritual practices, reconnecting with or discovering new spiritual beliefs can offer support. Engage in practices like meditation, prayer, or attending services to find comfort and community. You might also explore different philosophies and wisdom traditions that offer guidance on existential matters. Engaging in purposeful activities can significantly enhance your sense of fulfillment. Identify activities that align with your values and passions. Volunteering for a cause that you're passionate about can infuse your life with meaning and connect you with a community of like-minded individuals. Creative projects, whether it's writing, painting, or any form of artistic expression, can provide a profound sense of accomplishment and contribute to your sense of purpose. Remember, small steps towards understanding your existential questions can lead to significant personal growth. Stay curious, open-minded, and compassionate towards yourself as you navigate this journey. Through reflection, spiritual exploration, and engaging in activities that resonate deeply with you, you'll be better equipped to find meaning and purpose in your life, even amidst the uncertainty of an existential crisis. Integrating mindfulness and meditation into your daily routine can offer significant benefits for your mental and emotional well-being. These practices can help you stay grounded, reduce stress, and foster a sense of inner peace. One effective way to start is by setting aside a specific time each day for mindfulness or meditation. It doesn't have to be a long period. Even dedicating just 10 minutes can make a noticeable difference. Consistency is key, so try to stick to your designated time each day. If you're new to mindfulness or meditation, guided sessions can be a helpful introduction. There are many apps and online resources available that can lead you through various techniques. These guided practices often include deep breathing, body scans, and visualization exercises, all of which can help you cultivate a calm and focused mind. Another practical tip is to incorporate mindfulness into your everyday activities. Whether you're eating, walking, or performing a mundane task, try to fully engage in the moment. Pay attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. This practice can transform ordinary experiences into opportunities for relaxation and awareness. Breathing techniques are also a fundamental aspect of mindfulness. Simple exercises such as inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth can immediately reduce feelings of anxiety. Practicing these techniques regularly can help you manage stress more effectively. By making mindfulness and meditation a regular part of your routine, you can build resilience against feelings of hopelessness and cultivate a more balanced, peaceful state of mind. Gratitude journaling is a simple yet powerful tool that can substantially enhance your emotional well-being. By regularly documenting the positive aspects of your life, you can shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. To begin, set aside a few minutes each day to write down at least 3 things you're grateful for. These could be as small as a smile from a stranger, the warmth of the morning sun, or the support of a loved one. The act of noting these positive elements encourages you to notice and appreciate them more frequently throughout your day. Over time, as your gratitude journal fills with entries, take the opportunity to reflect on what you've written. Reviewing your past entries can remind you of the good things you've experienced, even on tougher days. This practice not only fosters a more positive outlook, but also builds resilience, making it easier to cope with stress and adversity. By consistently focusing on gratitude, you'll gradually train your mind to acknowledge and celebrate the positive aspects of your life. So grab a notebook or open a digital journal and start capturing those moments of gratitude today. A strong support network can be a lifeline when dealing with hopelessness. Cultivating meaningful connections and building a community around you can provide much-needed emotional support and practical assistance. First, don't hesitate to reach out to people you already know. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, sharing your struggles and successes with them can strengthen your relationships and foster a sense of belonging. It's important to communicate openly and honestly, letting those around you know how they can support you. Joining communities and groups that align with your interests or challenges can also be incredibly beneficial. Explore local clubs, hobby groups, or online forums where you can meet like-minded individuals. Support groups for specific issues, such as grief, mental health, or chronic illness, can offer a safe space to share experiences and advice. Reciprocity is key in any support network. Be willing to offer your time and empathy to others. Supporting someone else can be mutually rewarding, reinforcing a sense of community and shared understanding. Remember, building a support network takes time and effort, but the emotional resilience and sense of community it provides are invaluable. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, and don't be afraid to seek out new connections who share your values and interests. Setting and achieving goals can significantly impact our sense of direction and confidence. One effective method for goal setting is using the SMART criteria, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. First, make your goals specific. Clearly define what you want to accomplish. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, specify, I want to walk for 30 minutes every day. Next, ensure your goals are measurable. This means you can track your progress. If your goal is to save money, determine an exact amount, like, I will save $200 each month. Your goals should also be achievable. Set targets that challenge you, but are still within your reach. Overambitious goals can lead to frustration and discouragement. Relevance is crucial. Your goals should align with your values and long-term objectives. If you aim to enhance your career, focus on skills that directly benefit your professional growth. Finally, make your goals time-bound. Establish a clear timeline for achieving each goal. Instead of a vague, someday, set a deadline like, I will complete this course by the end of the month. Celebrating small victories is equally important. Each small achievement builds momentum and boosts your confidence. Recognize your progress regularly to maintain motivation and a positive mindset. By setting SMART goals and acknowledging your accomplishments, you create a structured path towards personal growth and resilience. This approach transforms aspirations into actionable steps, fostering a sense of achievement and purpose. Therapeutic support can play a crucial role in navigating feelings of hopelessness. Professional therapy provides a safe space where you can explore your emotions and discover effective coping strategies tailored to your unique situation. Finding the right therapist is an important step. Seek a licensed therapist who specializes in the issues you're facing. Don't be afraid to consult with a few different professionals until you find someone you feel comfortable with and trust. The therapeutic relationship is a partnership. and feeling understood and supported is key. Various therapeutic modalities can address different challenges. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps reframe negative thought patterns, while dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, focuses on emotion regulation and interpersonal effectiveness. For trauma-related issues, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, can be particularly effective. Psychoanalysis offers deep exploration of the subconscious mind, and psychodynamic therapy delves into past experiences that influence current behaviors. Once you've found the right therapist and approach, commit to regular sessions. Consistency allows you to make steady progress and build on each session's insights. Open communication with your therapist about your goals and any concerns will help tailor the therapy to meet your specific needs. Remember, therapy is not a quick fix, but an ongoing journey. Patience and persistence are essential as you work through complex emotions. Embracing the support of a skilled therapist can provide the tools and perspectives necessary for fostering resilience and hope. Regular physical activity plays a crucial role in enhancing mood and overall well-being. Engaging in physical activity releases endorphins, which are natural mood lifters, and helps reduce stress and anxiety. Here are some tips to make physical activity a rewarding and sustainable part of your routine. First, find activities you enjoy. Whether it's walking in a park, dancing to your favorite tunes, practicing yoga, or playing a team sport, choosing activities that you like increases the chances you'll stick with them. Experiment with different types of exercise to discover what feels most enjoyable and fulfilling for you. Second, set a routine. Incorporate physical activity into your daily schedule until it becomes a habit. Consistency is key to reaping the long-term benefits. You might start with short sessions and gradually increase the duration and intensity as you become more comfortable. Third, exercise with others. Joining group fitness classes or finding a workout buddy can provide motivation and make the experience more enjoyable. Social interactions during physical activity can also help combat feelings of loneliness and provide an added layer of support. Additionally, keep track of your progress. Use a fitness journal or app to record your activities and track improvements. Seeing your progress over time can be motivating and give you a sense of achievement. Finally, remember to listen to your body. It's important to balance pushing yourself with resting and recovering to avoid burnout or injury. Pay attention to how different activities make you feel and adjust your routine accordingly. By making physical activity a regular part of your life, you can boost your mood, improve your physical health, and build a more resilient mindset. Encouragement and support are vital when facing feelings of hopelessness. Let's explore some powerful ways to uplift yourself and those around you. Positive affirmations can be a great tool for boosting self-esteem and reframing negative thoughts. Make it a habit to write down or repeat affirmations daily. Focus on statements that genuinely resonate with you and tailor them to address your specific challenges and goals. Remember, these affirmations should encourage a positive mindset and promote self-empowerment. Connecting with nature can provide a profound sense of peace and rejuvenation. Engaging in outdoor activities such as hiking, gardening, or simply walking in a park can help clear your mind and uplift your spirits. If possible, consider taking short retreats or vacations in natural settings to fully immerse yourself in the healing power of the great outdoors. Creative expression is another wonderful way to manage difficult emotions and foster a sense of accomplishment. Whether it's through art, such as painting or drawing, or other forms of creativity like crafting, these activities can be therapeutic and enjoyable. Writing can also be a powerful outlet. Keeping a journal, writing poetry, or starting a blog allows you to channel your inner thoughts and feelings. Music and dance offer further avenues for expression and emotional release. Singing, playing an instrument, or dancing are all fantastic ways to lift your mood and reduce stress. By integrating these practices into your life, you create a supportive environment that promotes resilience and hope. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Taking small, positive actions every day can lead to significant improvements in your emotional well-being. Continue to nurture yourself, seek support, and believe in your capacity to overcome challenges. There is always hope and strength within you. As we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on the strategies and approaches discussed to cope with hopelessness. Recognize the triggers. Identify and understand the common causes of hopelessness in your life. Implement strategies, Use practical tips and techniques to manage and address these triggers. Seek support. Don't hesitate to seek professional help and build a supportive network. Now, I encourage you to reflect on your own experiences and communication habits. Conduct a self-assessment. Take time to evaluate your current emotional state and pinpoint areas for improvement. Practice active listening. Affirm the feelings of others to foster stronger connections. And commit to continuous growth. Ongoing personal growth and self-discovery are key to enhancing your well-being. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay hopeful and stay strong. Hey, Soulful Ambassadors. I can't believe we've come to the end of this episode. I've had so much fun engaging with you. Before we wrap up, remember we launched our merchandise. You can get Heartbeat Chronicles merch via the link in the description box on YouTube, on Ramble, or through our Instagram handle at heartbeat_chronicles and _soulful_Riley. If you're a Soulful Ambassador, you won't want to miss out on these. Every purchase helps support us in bringing you great content and amazing guests. If you're looking to lose weight, check out this diet book on Amazon, available in ebook, hardcover, and paperback. This book, Fit and Flavorful, a dietary recipe collection, has been instrumental for me in staying fit, and I'm sure it will be for you too. Links to purchase are on our Instagram and in the description box. To all our Soulful Ambassadors who like, comment, and engage with us, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. Follow us on our socials at heartbeat_chronicles and me at _soulful_Riley. Share our content with your friends, family, and loved ones. Don't forget, there's a link in our Instagram bio to all our other socials. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.